Tenma stands at the awakening ceremony along with his classmates, directly facing the northern commander, Menu Izumi, the man who once created humanity's strongest awakener and is revered as the very light of mankind. To awaken the hidden potential sleeping inside these children, he summons an awakening monolith. One by one, the students step forward and try, but none of them awaken. Ironically, out of everyone present, the fattest bully ends up awakening. Tenma shoves him aside and steps up to the stone himself, interacting with it with fierce determination burning in his eyes. At that very moment, the northern commander glimpses Tenma's spirit, and it's nothing ordinary but a literal god of destruction. The monolith blooms like an enormous blue lotus, and Tenma acquires a hidden skill called Overmimicry, an ability that allows him to adapt to any opponent's skill and generate a counter skill in response. Basically, he gains absurdly overpowered Mahoraga-level abilities. The fat bully can't control his jealousy and attacks Tenma, but in a sudden flash, Tenma appears right behind him, like his rent is overdue, scaring him so badly that he literally shits himself and collapses on the ground. After a complete analysis, Tenma gains a counter skill called Thunderwave, which pulls him into a mini lotus-shaped domain. Every time he completes an adaptation, people start calling him a literal monster who's acquired yet another broken skill. But completely against everyone's expectations, a giant monolith suddenly falls from the sky and crashes down on the entire institute. Even with the northern commander present, the situation turns critical. The fall of the monolith signals the arrival of a powerful disaster beast, so naturally everyone starts running for their lives. Tenma, however, is so enraged that he doesn't care about anything else. He stands alone, ready to face the threat head-on. What makes him even happier is that his first enemy as an awakener is the very same type of creature that killed his mother, making this day, for him, a truly happy one. And he's saying all of this directly to a badass skeleton soldier that's literally burning in flames. With his new powers in hand, Tenma wonders if he should test them right away. The moment he activates Thunderwave, he dashes forward at lightning speed and confronts the skeleton soldier. The monster slams its attack down, but thanks to Tenma's insane speed, he doesn't just evade, he retaliates with a ferocious punch, smashing the gigantic monster while refusing to let anyone else die at the hands of these creatures. A single hit sends the monster crashing to the ground, leaving all his classmates in shock. They start questioning whether running away is even necessary anymore. The same rookie who was nothing just moments ago has now blasted a level 8 calamity beast clean across the building. The supervisor reacts the same way, because Tenma's level 0 is far stronger than any normal level 0 awakener. Even so, defeating a skeleton soldier at this level should be impossible. After all, the creature possesses two terrifying abilities. The first is its absurdly high defense. The second ability now activates, Bonefire, a wall of searing blue flames that completely eviscerates anything it comes into contact with. Tenma's friends fall into panic, while Big Mac Attack Grinchface starts celebrating Tenma's death with excitement. Everyone thinks this is the end, but in reality this is just the beginning, you get it? Inspired by Kakashi the Copy Ninja, Tenma begins analyzing the ability deep within his mind. At that moment he notices that every time the enemy's attack hits him, his analysis speed keeps increasing. The Snow Bunny instructor can't believe her eyes because normally even a level 10 awakener can't tank a skeleton soldier's bonefire attack. The truth is, Tenma's body is literally burning its own skin away, his ribs becoming clearly visible as his body slowly withers. Yet he continues analyzing without giving a single fuck. All he can see before him is the image of his beloved mother, who once fell victim to these same merciless flames. And at that very moment the supervisor realizes something terrifying. This guy still hasn't even started using his full power. This genius awakener straight up looks like end of Breaking Bad Gus, openly threatening the skeleton soldier that the moment his analysis is complete he's going to kill it. I won't sugarcoat it, this scene goes metal as hell. His classmates regret ever underestimating him. Some of them notice the blue lotus surging once again, signaling that this awakener is about to pull off another miracle. Even as his body continues to wither, Tenma reaches for a new skill and learns Black Ice Wall, an ability that generates ice across the surface of the body, capable of deflecting fire-based attacks. The instant this skill is acquired, the system forcefully restores him to full health, stopping the withering caused by those Itachi-level Amaterasu flames. Tenma realizes that defeating the soldier in a single attack was never possible before, but now with his stats boosted once again it becomes theoretically possible. The gorgeous petals of the lotus engulf his body and restore him back to full health. His classmates start cheering, watching this guy heal himself in the middle of battle like Gojo, regenerating inside Sukuna's malevolent shrine. The teacher is completely starstruck by this healing ability, especially considering this kid was using lightning-based attacks just moments ago. One thing becomes crystal clear, This man is built different. He's an exceptional awakener. Watching his self-recovery process, people start wondering whether this guy could even regenerate vital organs like the brain. It's an interesting question, but right now, the skeleton soldier has lost its patience and fires another massive wave of blue flames at Tenma. This time, however, Tenma coats his body in a thick layer of metallic ice. The searing blue flames can't even melt it, meaning he has now become completely immune to them. Cutting straight through the flames, Tenma lunges forward like a literal god of destruction. He dodges the skeleton soldier's wide slash and uses that same ice armor to generate an enormous sword from his arms. The guy looks like a straight-up final boss, and this is only the beginning of the story. Using that building-sized sword, Tenma slices the skeleton monster with a clean Kit Kat strike, leaving every spectator in total shock. People are left speechless, unable to process both his speed and strength. His movements are so fast that the human eye can't even perceive them. As the fight ends, Tenma's armor slowly withers away while he boasts that he has acquired the ultimate skills of both offense and defense. After the battle, his friends call out to him and the rookie steps forward to give him a hug. Seo apparently never came to watch and runs away in panic. Tenma wonders if he might have upset her, while both the instructor and the supervisor remain frozen in pure shock. A single freshly awakened kid has defeated a calamity beast that even a level 100 awakener wouldn't be able to handle. Cha is ordered to clean up the mess and leave a message for the principal, stating that the genius awakener is on his way. Tenma's best friend glazes him hard, saying that during the fight he looked like an actual god. Meanwhile, the supervisor approaches Tenma for a private conversation, while the rest of the classmates start jumping in excitement, believing that Menu might want to take this boy as his personal student. Keep in mind, this is the same man who trained Jin Taewa, the strongest awakener in existence, so his standards are insanely high. Tenma's friend dashes off to give them space as the Northern commander commends Tenma for his special talent. Tenma doesn't really understand what he's saying, but Menu has already noticed the sheer hatred and anger buried deep inside the boy's heart. He grows curious about what could have possibly turned Tenma into such a resentful person. And that's when the backstory begins. Tenma shares the tragic loss of his parents. 10 years ago, he was just seconds away from becoming dead meat when a skeleton monster attacked him, until an awakener appeared out of nowhere and saved his life. But unfortunately, he had to watch his mother wither right in front of his eyes as the bonfire flames devoured her flesh. With her final breath, she told him to continue the rest of his journey with conviction. From that day onward, hatred for calamity beasts was carved deep into the boy's heart. He made a vow to slaughter every last one of them to bring an end to the demon of ruin and all monsters like it. That same hatred resurfaces even now as Tenma finishes his story in tears, something Menu notices immediately. What's strange is that tears have completely stopped flowing from his left eye, while his right eye keeps crying on its own, a condition that has persisted ever since his mother's death. After hearing the entire story, Menu makes Tenma an offer. He wants to take him as his student and proposes pushing him into the top league so he can hunt monsters properly. The Savior League is an organization created specifically to combat and slaughter calamity beasts made up of the strongest awakeners in the world. It's basically an army with a single mission: kill monsters. Every member is called a savior. They're provided with proper resources, weapons, and elite training opportunities, all while earning rewards. Just like a job, even a trainee savior earns 10,000 gold per month. And in today's economy, I'd work for 200, that's insanely generous. But with these privileges comes one expectation: whenever they're summoned, saviors must fight calamity beasts. They stand on the front lines protecting the world from monsters. To be honest, Tenma doesn't care about the rewards at all. He just loves killing monsters for the love of the game. The guy straight up wants to become Doomslayer. Naturally, he accepts the offer to become a savior. He then learns that every year in February, the League conducts an exam with 10,000 participants. Points are awarded based on merit, but only the top 100 performers are allowed to become saviors. This makes Tenma curious about the highest score ever recorded. Menu recalls that the top score was 115,000 points, set by Jin Taewa, the man regarded as the strongest warrior in existence. In the past 11 years, no one has even come close to that record. In fact, scoring even 50% of those points guarantees first place. Tenma considers this man both the light of humanity and an absolute monster among humans. But Menu tells him that comparing his talent to Jin Taewa would be foolish, because that man exists in a league of his own. However, our boy has that blue lock-type protagonist ego, and without hesitation he declares that he will break that record. Even Menu is caught off guard by this statement. It reminds Menu of an old conversation he once had with his student, Tiwajin, where he said that one day, someone would appear who would surpass his talent. It feels like a new son has arrived to replace the old one. That kind of potential is hidden within the boy standing right in front of him. In the next scene, the two arrive at a pair of stone monuments that serve as passages between two worlds. Killing monsters alone isn't enough. These monuments must also be destroyed, or else monsters will keep spawning endlessly. The building before them was specifically constructed to isolate and preserve these monuments while preventing calamity beasts from escaping. This place also functions as a training test for new saviors, essentially a training facility. In League terms, it's called a stage, and the monsters inside are considered uncontrollable. That's why rookies who enter these monument stages often get slaughtered, earning the place its nickname, the Rookie Graveyard. In his earliest days, Jin Taewa cleared this stage in just 3 minutes, setting an unbroken record. Now, Menu wants our boy to clear the same test in less than 3 minutes. Only then will Menu officially acknowledge him as his student. In the final scene, Menu walks alongside his new rookie, the one everyone's talking about. People begin comparing this boy to the legend of the strongest warrior. For everyone watching, it's hard to process the fact that this guy is casually walking shoulder to shoulder with Menu himself. While people are busy cooking up their own theories, our boy turns his gaze toward the disaster level stage. This is a level 10 stage, 2 levels stronger than the skeleton soldier, forcing Tenma to wonder what kind of monsters he's about to face. Seeing the shock on everyone's faces makes Tenma curious. Why are these people acting like they've never seen this stage before? He walks up to the reception desk and requests entry into the stage. The receptionist guides him through the process and asks about his party, only to hear Tenma calmly reply that he's solo. There's an awkward silence. The receptionist takes it as disrespect and assumes this guy is trying to hit on her. My man instantly lands in anti-Riz zone territory and his baddie chances evaporate. Tenma has absolutely no idea what's going on. Even the spectators start mocking him, thinking he's flexing his ego. Trying to clear things up, he explains again that he's not trying to flirt, he just wants to challenge the stage. The receptionist, however, starts thinking she's the queen and that he's only saying this to save himself from embarrassment. She's even ready to give him her number just to control this idiot. Genuinely rage-baited, Tenma warns her that he won't repeat himself a third time. He's not interested in a chopped receptionist, he's here strictly for the stage mission. Terrified by his words, the receptionist finally grants him permission, emphasizing that if he dies inside, the responsibility will be entirely his own. Tenma grabs the bracelet and wraps it around his arm, annoyed that he even had to deal with such an irritating encounter. Meanwhile, the beta simps around him think he's an idiot for not taking the girl's number and instead trying to act tough. The real problem is this: any rookie who challenges a level 10 stage is basically walking straight into self-destruction. The power gap is absolutely desperate. Most of these D1 haters keep talking trash, though a few are genuinely curious about Tenma's gift and how he plans to leverage it to climb the ranks. But despite his gift, his level is still 0. In their eyes, he's already dead. Focused on the task, Tenma scans his bracelet with his identification details and gains entry to the other side. Once the boring administrative stuff is done, he stretches out, loosening his hands and getting ready to throw them. The timer starts, and with it, the countdown begins. He has 3 minutes to clear the stage. Tenma lunges forward like a monster, immediately realizing just how insanely huge this place is, even for an artificial stage. For his very first monster encounter, he runs into a level 4 Kadama, basically a really messed up looking dog. He slaughters it with a single sword slash. Remember his ice morphing powers? He can manifest battle axes, swords, pretty much any weapon he wants. As soon as he slices the Kadama, more monsters arrive, hungry tree-log creatures that look like some horrifying twisted version of Pokémon. Outside the stage, Aya strongly opposes this trial, one her father personally set up. There were plenty of other stages rookies could have challenged, yet Tenma was sent straight into the toughest first stage. The truth is, Menu wants Tenma to eventually surpass Jin, which is why he's comparing their results. Even Aegea believes this is impossible, surpassing the ultimate warrior whose limits lie beyond the realm of humanity itself. But her father asks whether she truly agrees with that opinion. To her, Jin once seemed approachable and kind, until she witnessed him effortlessly killing a level 97 calamity beast. She saw it in his eyes, cold, calculating, godlike. That man feels like he has already transcended the human race and ascended into a deity. That may be true, but Menu argues that the same potential exists within Tenma, it will just take him time to transcend to that level. Jin is a god, humanity's savior. Tenma, on the other hand, feels like a demon consumed by hatred, two completely opposite forces. Back inside the stage, our boy has already annihilated the Kadama group with ease. Unfortunately, his over-mimicry doesn't even consider these weaklings worth scanning. Suddenly, Tenma gets that familiar feeling. It's right behind me, isn't it? He instantly retaliates with a slash. Surprisingly, killing that one is just as easy. Tenma starts wondering, are all disaster level 10 creatures this week? That can't be possible, otherwise this place wouldn't be called the Rookie Graveyard. There has to be something he doesn't know, and he's absolutely right. The system detects a B-rank skill, self-regeneration, instantly kickstarting the analysis cycle. Tenma wasn't expecting this because the very creature he just cut down suddenly stands back up like a colossus, overwhelming him with massive earthbound vines. Despite being sliced apart, the monster regenerates its injuries completely. Now it finally makes sense why this thing is so hard to kill. Standing against level 10 strength, Tenma activates Black Ice Wall, generating sharp spikes across both his arms. His objective is simple, to inflict so much damage that the creature won't be able to regenerate. As he relentlessly cuts it apart with dual blades, his analysis cycle continues running in the back of his mind. One massive slash splits the monster's head clean in two, but even that isn't enough to kill it. Tenma feels an almost sick sense of joy while tearing it apart. This monster is right in front of him, and he wants to shred it so completely that regeneration becomes impossible. He delivers so many cuts that it looks like the creature just walked through Sukuna's domain expansion. The monster explodes into bits and pieces and the fight finally concludes, which is good because Tenma's mana is already running low from spamming black ice skills. But then comes the plot twist. From those tiny fragments the creature regenerates back to full health, straight up perfect cell behavior. Frustrated, Tenma starts dodging every hit, shocked that he's dealing with such a persistent monster. The silver lining is that every time the creature regenerates, Tenma's analysis speed multiplies even faster. Still, the fight becomes overwhelming, so he starts conserving mana and stops using black ice. The smarter play is to rely on speed and wait until the analysis completes, but the worst part is that he's also running out of time. So he says, "Fuck it, we ball," and activates Thunderwave alongside Black Ice Wall, going all in on a last-minute attempt. He keeps slicing through the monster's vines, forcing it to regenerate repeatedly to accelerate the analysis process, because if his mana hits zero, he dies on the spot. Even then, he accepts it. If this is his limit, he's ready to die because stopping here would mean he was nothing more than a shitty imposter. Gathering every ounce of strength he has left, Tenma unleashes one final slash, pouring all his rage into an attempt to decapitate the creature. Unfortunately, game over. His mana is completely depleted, and the moment it hits zero, his body is riddled with holes like Swiss cheese. This is his final chance, because overmimicry is just milliseconds away from completing, the only ability in his arsenal that doesn't consume mana. The instant the process completes, the blue lotus spawns once again, and from self-regeneration a new skill is born, Lotus Burst. The monster desperately tries to strike him again, but Lotus Burst has already activated, detonating all surrounding mana into a massive explosive annihilation. With mimicry complete, every wound on Tenma's body auto-heals instantly. The monster watches in shock as Tenma claps his hands and the Lotus unleashes literal hell, incinerating the entire surrounding area and reducing the creature to nothing but ashes. In the aftermath, even Tenma looks wounded from the sheer outburst of his own attack, because that was his final trump card. By the way, he caused all this destruction using only 1/3 of his mana, and that too after mimicry refunded his resources. From this point on, dealing with mob monsters won't be a problem anymore, and the mimicry skill is now confirmed to restore both mana and health. Only a single shard remains, while outside the stage chaos erupts. The receptionist panics, begging for a rescue team to be dispatched for the rookie, and even Aga didn't expect Tenma to lose against a level 10 monster. But the real issue is that the stage was supposed to be cleared within 3 minutes, when suddenly the system announces something that shatters everyone's expectations. An 11-year-old record has been broken, as Itsuki Tenma clears the stage in just 2 minutes and 14 seconds. When he walks out of the stage, he looks exactly like someone who has just returned from a war. All his haters have now turned into fans because the underdog completely crushed Jin's record with a full 1-minute margin. Tenma walks up to Menu and asks whether he has finally earned his mentorship. Menu is genuinely impressed and praises his new disciple. This is one of those rare moments when Aga gets to see her father smiling like this. The spectators assume all of this happened because of Izumi, believing that was the reason the student broke Jin's record, but the truth is completely different. The reception lady returns, feeling ashamed and embarrassed about her earlier behavior. She gives Tenma a gift for setting the record, something he never expected. Tenma doesn't blame her either because a reckless newbie challenging a high-level stage would put anyone into a panic. This time, Tenma's words end up rizzing her up a little, leaving her flustered. On the other hand, Aga teases Tenma and reminds him not to get cocky just because he has become her father's student. Menu feels that this level is far too easy for Tenma's talent, so the difficulty needs to be increased. According to him, the right place for Tenma is the advanced stage. There is also one important thing to note: levels don't just indicate the threat level of disaster beasts. The most critical factor is actually their species, because some monsters have zero intelligence while others are even more intelligent than humans. Dealing with such monsters is far more difficult compared to ordinary disaster beasts. In hindsight, awakenas and disaster beasts function in almost the same way. Humans have different jobs that indicate their strength, while monsters' strength is determined by their species. Advanced stages contain more intelligent monsters, and despite being on the same level, defeating them is much harder than defeating average monsters. Tenma's next destination is set in District 4 of the Northern Stage, and he now realizes that until now he had only been killing trash creatures that didn't even have the basic intelligence needed to outplay him. Knowing that intelligent species can feel pain makes Tenma ecstatic, and he becomes fully invested in torturing such monsters. He even releases his terrifying aura, having found new victims. The crowd's reaction is overwhelming, with people unable to stop talking about how Jin's 11-year-old record was shattered by a new underdog. However, advanced stages are not easy, and the stages in District 4 are completely under the control of a single man. Many awakeners have challenged the advanced stages and never returned. There are rumors of a secret assassin lurking there. One idiot blurts out the name Raji Kinishida, while another tries to shut him up so he doesn't get killed for talking too much. It is revealed that Rai is the son of District 4's ward chief. This trust fund Nippo baby loves having people serve him. All the stages in District 4 belong to him, and waiting is only for worthless newbies. When Tenma opens the chest box, he finds a stone identical to the one he saw inside the stage. Menu is surprised that he obtained it, since it appeared immediately after killing the disaster beast. There's one key difference between the two stones: one of them is green, which genuinely shocks Aga because it is considered intermediate quality. Tenma asks what a karma stone actually is and learns that it is basically an experience stone. Killing monsters or awakeners generates karma, also known as experience points, which are ultimately responsible for boosting one's level. In this case, the karma stone is already filled with karma, and absorbing it greatly increases the user's level. The strangest part is how a karma stone naturally formed inside the stage. Menu, being a master, suggests that this may have happened due to the influence of Tenma's gift, which stuns both of them. Apparently, the karma inside defeated enemies is absorbed into the victor. However, the fact that Tenma did not level up even after killing 2 disaster beasts suggests that he was unable to absorb karma. Menu's theory is that all the karma Tenma had been generating by killing monsters until now was naturally being absorbed by the surrounding awakeners instead of Tenma himself. But a stage is different. There is no one else there to absorb the karma, and Tenma cannot absorb his own karma by himself. That's why it forcefully solidified into the form of a stone. However, Aga gets worried that Tenma might get stuck in a standstill, since he isn't able to level up at all. Her father stops her from asking Tenma about his skill because it must remain a secret. Anyway, Menu suggests that if Tenma wants, he can sell the stone. Personally, Menu is about to leave for a while since he has to attend a meeting with the leaders of the 5 continents. Until then, his daughter will look after Tenma. But before leaving, he lays down a few important rules. First, Tenma must keep his disciple identity a secret. Second, he must not tell anyone the details of his gift. Third, the teacher wants Tenma to clear at least 6 advanced stages before he returns. And finally, Tenma is given complete freedom over his power because it is his own power. The rookie accepts the orders and the scene cuts to the Northern District. Some awakeners are frustrated because even though it's their turn, they aren't being given access. Raji Kinishida's guards have arrived to reserve the spot and are chasing these kids away. The awakeners talk tough, calling Raji a rich pampered kid who will eventually get reported to the guild, but apparently he runs his mouth a little too much, because in the very next moment the guy gets slammed straight into the nearest wall. The muscle brute immediately gets attacked with a B-rank earth spike, but the result is 0 damage. His face turns metallic, while the blonde can't understand why a technique that can easily pierce monsters isn't damaging this muscle freak at all. The big guy grabs both his arms and delivers a direct headbutt, knocking him out cold. A level 7 and a level 8 Awakener both fall without even putting up a fight, crushed by Rage's bodyguard. This man is Takeru Oga, one of the 4 strongest enforcers working under Rise influence. He is also a level 12 Metal Bender. Metal Dick reminds everyone that anyone who tries to go against Rage's orders will be killed. He doesn't even want to let the 2 Awakeners be carried away, fully intending to torture them. His friend tells Takeru to keep himself in check because too many people are watching. Suddenly someone speed blitzes him. His body flies straight into Tenma's arms. The surrounding people immediately assume Tenma is some loser who has just signed his own death warrant. The man even calls him an idiot for trying to go against Raji's orders and gives him a final warning. But Tenma knows very well that he has to enter the stage, and Takeru is his only obstacle. Eda reports the situation to the higher-ups, but Tenma has already decided to handle things his own way, remembering his teacher's words, do what feels right. He leaves the injured people behind and releases a malevolent aura, despite being a level 0 Awakener. Takeru can't believe that a level 0 rookie has the guts to stand in front of him. Stranger still, he feels a strange pressure, making him suspect that this kid might have some kind of special gift. Trusting his stats, Takeru blindly assumes he has the upper hand here. Then he feels a shock. He sees Tenma blitz him at insane speed and Tenma's punch brushes against his face. The spectators suddenly fall completely silent, unable to even process the rookie's speed. Luckily, Tiro had metallized his body just before impact, so there's no injury. Coating his arms in metal, he thunders forward with his heavy fists, praising his opponent's speed while pointing out Tenma's lack of strength. Tenma quickly evades, knowing that he has already missed his one chance at a surprise attack against a superior opponent. Now his best option is to rely on Thunderwave and boost it even further, so Tenma activates the metallization process in the background. The metallization skill is so dangerous that the My Mimesis effects trigger, meaning Tenma now has to get completely serious and cannot hold back anymore. Tenma realizes that normal attacks won't work, and that he needs to target Takeru's flesh directly to deal meaningful damage. He winds up a kick aimed at his face, but Takeru blocks it in time, mocking the weakling for his lack of power and strength. But all of this is part of Tenma's strategy. He is conditioning his opponent to predict his maximum speed, and then further upgrading Thunderwave. Taro is completely caught off guard when he sees Tenma using the lightning element. This time, Tenma ramps up his speed to such an insane level that he starts throwing dozens of punches in succession, with every single hit landing cleanly. In the background, the analysis process keeps running, while the spectators slowly realize that this rookie can use multiple skills. Takeru is left with no opening to metallize, and all he can think about is how someone of this rank is outputting such insane speed. With so many punches raining down on his body, he can't even issue a voice command to call for help. Completely cornered, he makes one last desperate decision to pull out his trump card. Apparently that trump card is tearing off his shirt to reveal his demonic back. But in reality the guy goes full shiny mode, engulfing himself in complete metallization. This is the first time he has ever been pushed so far that he is forced to use this skill. All of his metallic parts receive a 50% defense boost, and if he stays still, another 50% gets added on top. By the way, we can now literally say that this guy's balls are made of titanium. Anyway, Taro feels grateful for evolving this far and plans to give the rookie an easy death. Once his defense crosses level 12, people start wondering whether anyone at the same level could even break through it. But this won't matter for long because the analysis process is almost complete. Tenma casually points out that Takeru invested all of his points into defense and completely ignored his mana stats. Taro acts like Tenma is talking nonsense, but deep down he knows the rookie is right. Tenma assures him that he isn't interested in draining his mana. Instead, he plans to end the fight in a single instant. A blue lotus spawns, creating yet another evolution of Tenma's power. The gorgeous lotus blossoms and dazzles the spectators, though they have no idea how something so beautiful is supposed to defeat Metal Dick. As the completion finishes, Tenma acquires a new skill, Clear Orb Piercing True Sphere. It is a defense-ignoring ability that guarantees damage. There's only one problem, its range and speed. It's quite slow, making it easy to dodge. Because of this, Tenma is forced into a situation where he must set the trajectory with perfect timing in order to pierce through the defense Taro is so proud of. The moment the skill activates, Tenma's stats rise even further as he casts the creation of a piercing orb. Even from this distance, Tenma confidently challenges his opponent to dodge the upcoming attack. Even from this distance, Tenma confidently challenges his opponent to dodge the attack if he can. Watching Tenma's performance ignites the crowd's excitement, making everyone wonder what he's about to pull next. As they watch Tenma's performance, the crowd's hype keeps rising and everyone starts wondering what this guy is going to do next. The piercing ball slowly moves past their eyes. The piercing ball slowly advances right in front of everyone's eyes. It's just a tiny little thing, making it inconceivable that anyone could get hit by something like that. The ball is so small that no one believes it could even hit anyone. The ball is so tiny that Metal Dick is willing to stand still and take it head-on, completely underestimating Tenma's trump card. The ball ends up making contact with his arm, and a look of horror instantly spreads across his face. It literally destroys the man's arm, causing it to explode in a pool of blood. Tenma had already instructed this idiot to dodge. He deliberately aimed for the arm to show mercy, because if this had been a monster, he would have aimed straight for a fatal area. Teru screams in agony as Tenma orders the clowns to take this guy to the hospital. They pathetically pick him up and take him away, and the day is saved as if the Powerpuff Girls showed up. Wait, I forgot, this isn't Cartoon Network. Tenma is hailed as a hero by the crowd. Some people even want to team up with him to clear stages in no time. The situation gets so chaotic that people start fighting each other just to recruit him. But Tenma is far too busy enjoying his newest skill, something capable of taking down a defense monster like Takeru himself. The orb has another effect: it gets faster the more high defense enemies it kills, especially those with higher defense stats than Tenma. The two clowns beg him to join their teams, but he openly refuses, saying he's perfectly fine going solo. Once again, the crowd reacts just like before, calling him an idiot for trying to solo an advanced stage just because he beat Takeru. People's impressions of him change instantly, and they're completely fine leaving this so-called psychopath to die. With the naysayers gone, Menyu's daughter explains that every calamity beast in the advanced stages has defense comparable to Teru's. That means Tenma will need to manage his mana very carefully. But Tenma stays chill and tells her not to worry, which only makes her more flustered, knowing his death would earn her humiliation from her father. On top of that, Agya points out that stone beasts move in groups, but they're still incredibly dumb, so Tenma could exploit them by focusing on mana drain. The bracelet signals his entry, and our boy steps into the stage for his next major challenge. He doesn't expect to face so many massive rock lizards at once. All of them have extremely high stats, far higher than the monsters he fought before. A Colossus statue charges at him at full speed, and Tenma decides to pull out his piercing orb to counter their absurdly high defense. The orb collides with the statue, drilling a hole straight through its body and killing it instantly. This grants a 100% increase in the orb's speed, which is insanely useful for Tenma in every situation. 3 terrifying statues lunge at him, but Tenma goes full Killua mode, blitzing past them with lightning speed. He wipes out 3 monsters with an explosive attack, once again burning through a third of his mana. But the fight isn't over yet. 2 more creatures attack from opposite directions. Tenma dodges both, causing them to smash into each other. That gives him the perfect opening to strike them with a monstrous piercing orb. The speed of the orb is even faster this time, and it kills both monsters in a single hit. Tenma collapses, completely exhausted as his mana drops to 0. He's been seriously struggling with mana constraints lately and starts hoping he'll gain a mana recovery skill soon. With the orb speed now reaching 5 ms, his current growth rate looks extremely promising. But the idiot completely forgets about the final monster, which comes crashing down from above, unleashing pure destruction. One of the monsters activates gigantification, turning into a threat so massive that even Godzilla would need to step in. Its sheer size becomes a problem, but Tenma manages to survive using lightning-level speed. Carefully choosing his target, he fires a piercing orb straight at the monster's head. However, from that distance alone, Tenma realizes the orb is too small to deal serious damage. The Titanic stone statue retaliates with a devastating punch of its own. Since Tenma can't dodge in midair, he has no choice but to repeatedly use black ice to tank the hit. Even then, the impact is so massive that he gets sent flying straight into a nearby wall. The fight turns out to be far more difficult than he expected. Realizing the need for overmimesis, the system automatically initiates analysis, bringing a bit of relief to Tenma's face. The scene cuts to Rai's territory, where one of his agents blurts out shocking news. The agent's voice irritates Rai, but what he says grabs his attention instantly. Apparently, someone has defeated Takeru and entered the advanced stage. Hearing this, the pampered bastard is filled with rage, unable to believe that Takeru could lose at his level. The only logic Rai can think of is that it must have been someone above level 30. But that doesn't make sense, since Awakeners at that level handle real missions and don't bother with weaklings. Most people in the facility are around level 10, so it seems impossible to Rai that a level 10 could defeat Takaru. Rai decides to go check it out himself, believing he can still make it in time if he leaves now. His agent advises caution, but this room temperature IQ idiot ignores the warning completely. Rage fills his mind as he plans to punish the one who dared mess with the Kinoshita family. Meanwhile, Tenma somehow survives and reaches 100% analysis completion. With the Lotus Shield active, the system confirms the completion of the gigantification analysis. Strangely enough, Tenma doesn't gain a new skill this time. Instead, his piercing orb evolves to level 2, allowing him to control its size while doubling its passive speed. Testing both effects together, Tenma activates his evolved orb and creates one that completely drains his mana. This becomes the most powerful piercing orb he has ever fired, launching like a literal nuke. He even strikes a Gojo-style pose after the final shot, wondering if he might have overdone it. The stone golem's defeat marks yet another step in his progression. The orb's speed increases to 7 ms, and if he clears the stage 2 more times, it'll reach car-level speed. The passive effects he had been ignoring until now finally start showing their true value. Lotus Burst allows all his skills to be used far more efficiently, meaning if he buffs its passive further, he could snipe monsters from thousands of meters away. The advanced stage is cleared in just 3 minutes, setting yet another record and leaving all the other Awakeners in shock. Everyone starts questioning how someone at level 0 can pull this off, because it defies all logic. On top of that, Tenma looks completely fresh, as if he just took a bath without a single injury on his body. Aga is once again deeply impressed and left speechless. She praises his insanely fast completion speed, though it's largely thanks to the piercing orb. That's when Tenma notices a butterfly fluttering around near him. This is called a jade butterfly. Agia is actually a Shikami user, but I'm noticing something else instead of focusing on the butterfly, so I don't pay it much attention. Don't ask about the color, please. Tenma talks to the cute little creature, calls it beautiful, and then directly asks Agia what kinds of jobs normal Awakeners usually have. Hearing this, she gets shocked that this guy doesn't even have basic knowledge. Jobs are divided into 4 total categories, and our boy has already seen 3 of them. The first type is Elementalist, which includes different elements. This is the most common type and has the highest combat power. The bulky guy from his class and Takaru both fall under this category. The second type is Shikami user, yeah bro, straight up Jujutsu Kaisen style. Shikami are bonded to their masters from birth, which is why she has one too. After explaining 2 types, she pauses and waits for his next question. That's when Tenma notices that her jade butterfly's level is actually higher than hers, and he straight up questions her veteran status. No sugarcoating, he just says it directly and the poor girl's ego shatters on the spot. Agia corrects his misunderstanding about power and explains that Shikami are always higher level than their masters. But in situations like this, Tenma's calculative brain immediately thinks that in a fight targeting the Shikami's master is the optimal strategy. At that moment she gets scared, sensing even a hint of negative aura coming from him. Anyway, she waits for the rest to be introduced. The third type is a mysterious job with very little information available. This is the type our boy has, known as an orderer. The problem is that individuals of this type have wildly different abilities. Blue Lotus Tenma is completely different from Awakeners who can change size or create shadow clones. Yeah, Naruto exists here too. Skills in each job category are ranked from C to S, forming 4 pyramids of strength. But Order Breakers are classified under Z category skills, completely separate from the rest. That's because the Order Breaker class is respected due to their unique abilities. The moment an opponent understands an Order Breaker's ability, their biggest advantage disappears. This is exactly why Menu, her father, insisted that Agia should not inquire about Tenma's abilities. Tenma is also an irregular even among Order Breakers, because through personal confirmation, it's clear he has used 3 different skills, 2 of which are related to Elementalists. Tenma gets a bit annoyed that she keeps talking about him non-stop, so he directly asks about the 4th job type that he hasn't seen yet. She refuses to say a single word about it, claiming it's punishment for someone who keeps everything to himself. Before leaving, Agia asks about his future plans and finds out that Tenma intends to repeatedly clear the same advanced stage. She reminds his dumb ass that stages have cooldown periods, meaning he won't be able to access it again for at least 2 days. This is a real hindrance that he hadn't even considered. That's why Rai keeps those stages reserved for himself. And since our boy can't upgrade his piercing orb right now, he decides to at least upgrade Lotus Burst instead. So he asks for a different stage with a larger number of disaster beasts. Walmart Maki Zenin recalls a stage where the disaster beast levels aren't very high but there are a ton of monsters. It's a swarm of giant locusts, at least 100 of them. The stage is an absolute pain without a wide-range skill, so she warns him against attempting it. What she doesn't realize is that our boy already has an explosive detonation skill called Lotus Burst. He ignores the constant warnings while everyone else is left in shock after hearing his plan to conquer the locust stage. They're already shivering, worried that Rigai will come back for revenge and want to leave as soon as possible. Speaking of that scumbag, he arrives at the same spot and realizes his target has escaped to another location. It's hard to believe that someone cleared a stage in such a short amount of time. Rage boils in his blood as he thinks this mysterious offender is intentionally messing with him. He orders his agents to search for mana traces and to contact someone known as Hound for the job. He wants Tenma alive so he can personally savor the torture. Bro wonders just how tough this bastard really is. In another area, a poor Awakener is barely clinging to life. He's being hunted by Hound, one of Rigai's subordinates, and even after using an escape jutsu, he's discovered by a gaping wild beast. The creature rips him apart with its mouth just as another agent of Rai arrives to retrieve the remains. The man is still alive, wondering how he was tracked down. This man's pet dog over here has an excellent sense of smell and can easily track a target. The man's name is Charles the Hound, and he has come to eliminate the target on Raggy's behalf. The poor guy pleads for his life, but Charles mercilessly allows the wolf to feast on human flesh. After his death, they finally experience a level up. Charles calls to report the mission status, confirming the kill, but is shocked to learn that Tiru has suffered severe injuries. Understanding the importance of the situation, he sends a signal to locate Rai. Happy that new prey has appeared, Tenma enters the stage and questions why there are already so many locusts. Explains that certain monsters prefer certain environments, which is why one of an Awakener's skills is being well informed about their terrain. In advanced stages, there isn't even a proper receptionist because they're so dangerous. Tenma wonders why this level is completely shut down, considering it's at best only level 13. The good thing about normal stages is that if they feel too difficult, you can exit. But in the case of these locusts, escape is literally impossible. One single mistake will shred you because of the locust swarm. Awakeners are eaten for breakfast. It's so brutal that only bones are left behind. But none of this scares our boy. He's just happy to find the perfect playground to hunt monsters. Aja thinks he's a goddamn idiot for this. But Tenma has his goals and confidently steps into the stage. He worries whether everything he was told will be enough, then realizes he forgot a key detail. The locusts literally have infinite spawns until the boss is defeated. After making such a huge mistake, Ajo wants to invade the stage level to warn him, but then senses an ominous presence. It's Charles the Hound, glaring at her with devilish eyes and asking her to look for someone. The scene cuts and takes us inside Tenma's experience within the stage. He claps his hands, playfully waking up the annoying bugs so he can kill them over and over again. Their level is pathetic, barely level 1, but their quantity makes the stage worth it. More than 100 cover the sky. Tenma casts the Lotus Burst technique and simultaneously guards himself with black ice armor. The goal is to let these bastards swarm from every direction, and when they feel confident, he'll detonate. Tenma activates Lotus Burst at the precise moment, and the bugs are obliterated together. By the end of the attack, everything is dead meat, and Lotus Burst evolves to level 2. The range expands to 10 meters, double what it was before. Tenma thinks monsters of such a weak level will give easy points since the mana consumption is barely anything. If he spends 10 more shots and kills 100 locusts with every swing, the skill will upgrade by 1000%. Then he realizes the stage itself must have a cooldown, making his happiness short-lived. Tenma checks his bracelet, wondering why the stage clear prompt hasn't appeared. Instead, it detects a boss monster skill, Matriarch's Will, which immediately activates an analysis effect. Tenma looks around to check for survivors and sees the dead swarm being pulled into a vortex. Creating distance, Tenma zooms away. He questions whether this is the effect of the boss skill. His guard drops, and while it's great that his ability is evolving, the main issue is that the boss's location is unknown. The best strategy right now is to keep annihilating the swarm until the boss eventually exposes itself. He reactivates Lotus Burst and detonates another explosion, slaughtering another swarm. The range increases to 16 meters, and the explosion is further amplified. After the second wipeout, Tenma wonders why the boss still hasn't appeared. The same dead locusts respawn, creating an endless swarm that refuses to stay down. Unfortunately, Tenma can only stall 9 more detonations with his ability. For the third time, he extends his hand and promises to annihilate them every single time they come back. The third explosion massacres the swarm, adding another 100 to the kill streak. Tenma keeps detonating until the burst radius reaches 54 meters. Now he has only one shot left and the bugs are still respawning. The swarm rises again, panic setting in as Tenma's mana is about to run out and there's still no way to confront the boss. He could easily escape the stage, but this man is too egotistical to quit. One last time he declares his intention to massacre the swarm. Lotus Burst detonates, casting the largest explosion ever, pushing the boy to his absolute limits. The swarm rises once again. The analysis progress still isn't complete. This is the moment he realizes he really messed up, because the queen has an infinite breeding ability. That means the only way to win is to kill her. But how is he supposed to do that with 0 mana points? Luckily, the analysis rate reaches full completion, enveloping him in a lotus domain and adapting the queen's skill. Tenma acquires a new detection skill to counter her ability, complete with a cheat code level passive effect. It's so powerful that he could intentionally leave the boss alive and farm the locusts as many times as he wants. Unfortunately, Ega is waiting for him, so he has to wrap things up. With the skill activated, his sensory abilities heighten as he maps the surrounding area to locate his target. The detector picks up the queen's signals just underground, which is the only thing Tenma needed. Next, he carves out a hollow purple, stealing Gojo's swag once again, and releases it to decimate the annoying queen. The piercing orb crushes the ground beneath, forcing the queen to reveal her most vulnerable point. And right there, our boy clocks her with a slashing backshot, ending her life. After the queen is dismantled, chaos spreads through the swarm, but our boy is happy to send them all to hell along with her. The final detonation wraps everything up, permanently killing the locust swarm as the range increases to 65 meters. The stage grants him a ton of skill boosts, and Tenma plans to reuse it and evolve the range even further, achieving a new record of 17 minutes. He exits the stage worried about Agia's condition, but then thinks she might just ditch his ass. Tenma actually likes her awkward side. But the moment he steps out, he sees her covered in cuts and being choked by Charles. The fact that Tenma comes out in one piece confirms to the Hound that this is the man his master has been looking for. And yeah, don't forget, One Piece is real. Agitated, Tenma threatens the guy to take his hands off her, or he'll kill him. Charles thinks the kid is cocky for a level 0 rookie. And at that exact moment, our boy spawns right in his freaking face, going for the kill. Charles thinks, oh shit, I'm fucked. Charles summons his wolf Shikigami to block the attack. The creature successfully tanks the hit, while Overmimesis kicks in again. Tenma immediately realizes he's dealing with a Shikigami user. Charles analyzes the situation, but the fighter in front of him maneuvers at incredible speed. It's clear how Tiru lost that fight, but Charles holds a huge leverage over Tiru through a free hostage situation involving the girl. Tenma fears for her life, and the distraction costs him as the Shikigami leaps straight at his face. The worst part about this Deathbite force is that it can crush any enemy, even those with high defense stats. Shockingly, Charles watches as black ice spikes erupt to protect Tenma's arm. Tenma uses his other arm to charge a lethal kill shot. The piercing sphere annihilates the Shikigami in a single hit, killing it instantly. Now that death is gone, the next target is Charles, who should be easy to deal with. But the experienced Awakener realizes the rookie is unaware of a Shikigami user's respawning effect. Death possesses a B-rank ability, Respawn Desire, which drastically reduces respawn time. Tenma is distracted, so the creature tries to attack again with its gaping, sharp teeth, but no worries, Monosense has already predicted the outcome. Tenma retaliates effortlessly, stopping the monster once more. His analysis skill is slowly nearing completion. But if the lotus appears in front of Charles, it could give away free information about his abilities. Charles is having a mental breakdown dealing with a guy who has immense speed, strength, and straight-up hacks. His only leverage is G, so he chokes her hard enough to stop her from speaking and threatens to kill her right in front of Tenma. Our boy wants to complete the analysis without spawning the lotus, but things start going in a different direction. With completion, he earns a counter skill, Shikigami Eater, a unique power that allows him to take control of another user, Shikigami, by touching it once. It's an excellent counter, but because he intentionally cancelled the lotus spawning effect, he doesn't receive the auto-recovery effects. That's the price of skipping it. The good thing is that he's currently uninjured, so he doesn't really need it. The first thing he does is test the Shikigami Eater spell on the approaching monster. Activating his essence, Tenma slaps the Shikigami on the head, manipulates its control strings, and then kicks the creature away at tremendous speed. Charles watches the monster get obliterated again, calling the poor thing a useless mutt. He threatens to break G's neck, but she doesn't even care in the situation. Tenma throws up his hands in full cinematic fashion to save her life. Charles is happy that the kid is obedient, preventing any further trouble, but part of him is bugged. Why was he the target in the first place? Charles thinks the kid is playing dumb, even though he himself instigated everything. He decides to spill the tea on mission details, revealing how Rai got pissed off because a mysterious awakener stole his advanced stages. That's why he recruited Charles to finish him off. Hearing Rai's name for the millionth time annoys Tenma, who thinks they really need a private talk. Charles assures him that they're already heading that direction, planning to use his pet dog to take out Tenma's legs. This time if Tenma uses defensive ice, Charles will snap Ya's neck. He orders the monster to torture the prey, not realizing the tables have turned now that the creature bit its former master. Aha's balloons are secured by Tenma's thunderwave speed. The hunter can't comprehend why the Shikigami is attacking. Tenma praises his new pet but isn't yet ready to serve justice for what this bastard did to Aha, actually to Aha herself. The hunter has now become the hunted, pleading for mercy, even offering to hunt down Raggy for the guy. Tenma scoffs at the pathetic proposal. Charles psychotically unleashes one final attempt to end the rookie's life. The blade grazes Tenma's side, and he signals his new pet to kill Charles's ass in the same way Aga was tortured. The Shikigami stares at its meal like a once-ruthless hunter whining like a pathetic animal. Death opens its jaw wide and ultimately ends Charles's life, bringing Tenma satisfaction. While all this is happening, Tenma calls out to a person secretly watching their fight from a comfortable hiding spot, urging them to reveal themselves. The spy is caught and exposed, but Tenma, still in bloodlust mode, immediately asks if this dude is affiliated with Charles. The guy frantically clarifies that nothing like that is true. Tenma has no time to spare. He tasks Death to finish eating in return. The Shikigami devours Charles and eventually fades away. Even a berserk dog like Death obeys Tenma's commands. The blonde fellow is now confident that our boy can help him. Iberia introduces himself and praises Tenma for his sick moves back there. He already knows him as the one who took down Takaru and has a proposal for Tenma in exchange for karma stones and weapons. Tenma rejects it and simply walks away, ignoring him. Not a single awakener could have done what he just did to earn the reward that might have come. Specific types of rewards always fit specific situations. For example, a blade benefits an avenger, and medicine heals the injured. This sparks an idea in Iberia's mind that he has the perfect reward for this situation. He realizes Tenma can't speed blitz right now because Aga is already injured, and by the time she reaches the hospital she could bleed out and die. To remedy the pain, Iberia whips out a healing item. This mystical scroll actually prevents Tenma from walking away. He turns back, genuinely relieved for his friend's safety. The item is promising enough to save her life. So they put her down and wrap her melons with the material. The item is a rare artifact, crafted from 2 different materials from the Shadow and Wood Spirit clans. The rookie has no idea what an artifact is, so Iberia explains the logic. Modern human weapons do nothing against creatures of destruction, especially guns. The good thing about these crafters is that they can forge new weapons using monolith or disaster beast parts. These crafted items are called artifacts and are ranked in 4 rarity classes: common, rare, epic, and unique. Common artifacts are basic weapons capable of hurting ordinary disaster beasts and awakeners, like a long sword. Rare artifacts boost the user's stats, like an aqua blade. Epic artifacts such as the red blood sword increase stats and provide special effects. Unique artifacts come with exclusive skills like a holy sword. Crafters can't be compared to fighters, but their items are extremely hard to find. Awakeners are always indebted to them for their excellent work. Tenma pieces together that this guy's father is a crafter. Actually, he's not an average crafter. Across 5 continents, only 10 unique artifacts have ever been produced. And guess what? This guy's pops made 3 of those freaking artifacts, earning him the title of Artisan King of the North. But our boy gives zero craps, turning his attention to the object of his own interest. He inspects the crossbow he picked up from Charles. It's also an artifact. Iberia is stunned that after hearing this amazing story, the dude still doesn't give a damn about his pops. The crossbow is a rare artifact. Unfortunately, it has no ammo, but Iberia explains that some weapons generate their own ammo. To Tenma's shock, the weapon vanishes into thin air. This is also a quality of certain artifacts that are sold unto their owners and automatically return to a subspace dimension. Tenma finds this info neat and thanks Iberia for healing Aga, saving her life. He feels indebted to him for future favors and intends to personally handle Rai after this. Iberia thinks it's seriously reckless for Tenma to challenge Rai all alone, but Tenma isn't in the mood to argue and doesn't follow the deal. The good thing is that both Iberia and our boy share the same target. Even though Rai didn't exactly piss him off, Iberia suggests they team up for the upcoming Savior Alliance tournament qualifiers. Tenma recalls the tournament, remembering that only the top 10 qualified candidates from each continent can enter the main event. That's why he was non-stop spamming advanced stages to prepare, but he still doesn't understand how this connects to their target. Iberia reveals that qualifiers are held individually by continents. As son of the chief, Rai expected him to partake in the event alongside his older brother. If they don't secure top 10 positions, the Kinoshita family name would be dragged through the mud. That's why he's seizing control of all stages for his personal advantage. Tenma questions why he's helping the blonde Awakener. Iberia shares that he genuinely admires him and trusts his instincts that both will pass. Tenma still doesn't understand why this guy is rushing the tournament right now, prompting him to search for a deeper reason. Iberia explains that he watched his father work on crafting since he was a little boy, which is why he admires him. His ultimate dream was to become an Awakener and fight monsters with tools his father made. Unfortunately, even after awakening, Iberia's father refused to make him a proper artifact, calling him unworthy. Despite endless attempts, the father didn't flinch and told his son to pass the qualifiers if he wanted a weapon. That's why Iberia has an intense desire to clear the initial qualifiers no matter what. Hearing this, Tenma understands that the crafter's son must have a long list of people wanting to team up, so there's no reason he picked a level 0 guy. Apparently the master artisan installed a condition stating that if Iberia is carried by an overpowered teammate, he won't get the reward. Basically, the bro has your average strict Asian dad with tons of expectations and zero shortcuts. Another problem is that strong contestants are already tipped off by rage, leaving loners or pre-made parties. Since Iberia has no one to rely on, Tenma is his best bet, the same man who obliterated powerful Takaru and defeated Charles just now. In the end, after a multitude of questions, our boy eventually agrees to team up, but his immediate worry is getting Aha to the hospital. Iberia is so happy that he already starts deciding a team name, yapping non-stop with several naming combinations. He's a true homeboy, but he just doesn't shut up. Remembering old school friends, Tenma wonders if Ramu and Jo will also join the qualifiers. Next scene, Ramu sneezes out of nowhere. Tenma assumes his buddy must be remembering him or something. The name genuinely makes her concerned for Tenma's condition. She hopes he's surviving well. Ramu teases her for having feelings for him, causing her to hit him with her water ability. He taunts her for using a dirty cheap shot, but in his view, sparring doesn't care about sneaky attacks as long as there are openings. Watching from a distance is their master, a cyborg hellbent on training them properly for the qualifiers. Seiya has already reached level 11, Ramu is stuck at 10. Both are elementalists, preparing to face off against other Awakeners soon. Scene cuts to Rei's face again, irritated that Hound hasn't reported back. It pisses him off that they're all useless. An agent suggests sending a search party, but Rei doesn't care and highlights the qualifiers as top priority because his father will beat his dumbass if he doesn't make the cut this year. By the way, this guy has already bought nearly 800 contestants, bribing them for cooperation, all level 5 and above. Raggy likes that this agent is reliable compared to others and consumes the last stone to level up stats. He stands at average level 12 thinking he's the top dog, wielding lightning as his element. Next scene, our boy apologizes to his master for failing to save Gaya in time. The Northern commander entertains the idea of killing Rei with ease, but Tenma doesn't want to and begs to leave him alone. Menu understands and is interested in asking details some other time. Iberia, on the other hand, can't believe his eyes. The Northern commander is acting buddy-buddy with Tenma. At his side, Tenma proclaims interest in entering the qualifiers tournament and the commander is okay with that decision. Aja appears holding herself well, the butterfly healed her in the process. Even Iberia helped out with a rare artifact, inspiring the Northern commander's interest in him. Menu knows about the boy's affiliation with the craftsman, stunning his expectations. Iberia decides to maintain his father's dignity and gives off a cool-ass aura farming declaration, stating that he is Aiden's father. Yes, you heard that right. This clown accidentally massacres the sentence, disappointing 3 people, embarrassing out of him. Negative aura aside, Menu is happy that the kid helped save his daughter and even intends to pay proper respect to Iberia's father after the tournament. With qualifiers around the corner, he suggests they both train because he anticipates a lot from them. Tenma and Iberia are confident in their victory, while Agia is shocked by her father's recent vested interest in our boy. Tenma's thing is that he has Batman-level childhood trauma, so he's merciless against monsters. But that dark impulse weakens around people he cares about. This is another reason why Menu wants his daughter to stay by his side, to become someone he values enough to protect. Aside from that, remember the skeleton soldier who popped up at Tenma's school at the start. Turns out it wasn't a fluke, it was a proper planned attack. Traitors among humans are increasing, and attacks are happening on other commanders as well. Menu strongly believes humanity is headed for destruction even now. But Tenma is the stopping force who can bridge the gap, becoming a ray of hope for all. Finally, we arrive at District Level 4. The tournament is about to begin. Tenma doesn't expect it to be this crowded, but obviously Menu's presence alone dragged the attention of the giant crowd, boosting participant numbers up to 5,000. This is bad news for Raggy, because now he has fewer participants who work under him. But the agent thinks it's no big deal. They already made sure red bands are wrapped around participants working under them, making it easy to identify. It also looks strange to Ja and Ramu. Acting as the main supervisor, Saru Fujiwara initiates the rule explanation. The area is divided into 2 parts, external and internal arena. The first stage begins from the 4 towers of the external region. Contestants are expected to fight their way as best they can to reach the internal region. As they enter, rank is recorded and installed onto the bracelet. Only the top 500 from a batch of 5,000 are able to pass. Seiya is a little worried that practically 4,500 people will be wiped out in the first round. Each contestant can carry flexibly 2 weapons or tools at their disposal. Anything works. Iberia points toward R's direction, hiding behind bribed awakeners. He already knows that these douchebag participants were bought and they'll blitz everyone to reach the internal region first. Ignoring everything, Tenma fearlessly walks up to the 4 eyes ketchup-haired stick man. The first stage commences immediately, Examiner Fujiwara expecting a lot from the youth. The hotter version of Toji thinks that quality matters over quantity. Stats and height haven't been revealed yet. Back then, he and Jin only did the bulldozing of competition. Heen desperately hopes there is an awakener who will dazzle everyone. But this genius does not appear easily, so Fujiwara keeps low expectations. Heen recalls the rumor of the boy beating a level 8 monster right after awakening and turns to ask Menu if it's true. The Northern Commander confirms, prompting the question if the same guy is also partaking in the tournament. Fujiwara curiously wonders what kind of person he is, so scans down the list from school. Rimu and Jur are eliminated from guesses, leaving Hana Hanu, Wood Specialist, Crazy Level 16. She looks like a prodigy, but Menu's lack of an answer indicates that all guesses are false. Even though Hanu holds the top rank, she interestingly asks whether there are any level 0s around. Every year there's at least one who ends up getting smashed by the competition. Speaking of level 0, Rage ridicules the rookie for trying to challenge him, not knowing this is the same guy who wiped the floor with 2 of his bodyguards. The moment our boy whips out Charles's crossbow, his face drops in shock. Tenma understands that this clown is looking for him. Ray gets ticked off by the insulting tone, takes him as nothing more than rage bait and signals a lackey to jump our boy. Rai leaps off and goes straight for the internal region. Now Tenma is left with a bunch of people all higher level than him. Heen can't fathom how a level 0 is challenging multiple level 6s and 7s like this. Iberia doesn't like the situation either, fearing they'll be overwhelmed by 4 assailants. He's already prepared to use his trump card in a situation like this. One goon tries to provoke our boy, prompting Tenma to order him to move. The harmless comment makes the dude burst out laughing. Anyone would think the kid is just a hotshot talking big. Heen actually likes Tenma's brave personality and intends to jump in if he's about to die. The same goon tries to meddle again and gets smashed in the face with a single punch as Tenma reminds him to move. Heen can't fathom how the kid insta-killed an opponent far superior in level. The surrounding fighters intend to incinerate the looming threat, while Iberia can't even defend his friend. With an attack this massive, everyone thinks the rookie is done for. But the guy doesn't take a single scratch and impresses everyone with his successful defense. Black Ice's defense stats shoot up with every successful attempt. No one can believe he blocked it using the water element, and Tenma dares them to try the same move again. Insulted, the fire elementalist repeats his B-rank flamethrower skill at full intensity. Meanwhile, our boy just stands there and absorbs the entire hit. The fire elementalist expends so much flame that he suffers backlash himself and drains all his mana. He thinks this is Tenma's end. But the guy appears completely unscathed with black ice gauntlets on. With these new discoveries, the rest are in real trouble since even their strongest attack couldn't deal damage. They hit him with multiple fireball strikes but nothing happens. Then they switch to monodrain approach. But the guy closes the gap and immediately speed blitzes them. In a contest of strength, he obliterates another Awakener and defeats yet another. The final two are lightning warriors. He warns them they won't be able to escape, but the idiots still activate dual skills. Heen is in shock watching a level 0 massacre an entire team. After everyone goes down, Iberia commends his teammate for being incredible. No one believes he's level 0, but Iberia reminds the arena that he and his partner will be the best the tournament has ever seen. Rai is at his spot thinking about the crossbow when he suddenly sees another Awakener pass by and get zapped like Hassan's dog. Rai reminds this dog that no one is getting past him. He gathers the remaining lackeys and orders them to stay together. The examiners watch his arrogance on full display as the young master of the Kinoshita family. Unfortunately, nothing he's doing is against the rules, so they can't intervene. Suddenly, Bro hears someone calling his name. It's the dynamic duo from earlier. Tenma survived the team, which confuses Rai as to how that's even possible. He calls our boy level 0 trash, but Tenma doesn't care and Raggy doesn't want a head-on fight. So he signals a group of 100 warriors to keep them busy. Tenma happily takes them head-on, covers Iberia's ears, then dashes at lightning speed and knocks Raggy off balance. This is his way of saying the score will be settled and the prey won't escape. Seiya and Ramu struggle but manage to reach the inner circle. Wei and Agami take third and second place. Hanu is at the top, dominating the leaderboard. She's in a league of her own, but Iberia reaches 6th place while calling out Tenma's name. The man of the hour is still on the battlefield, planning to farm the 100-man party instead of heading to the completion zone. Even the examiners can't figure out what this guy's deal is. Heen thinks this guy could cook everyone. Raggy now considers our boy a pest that can't be ignored, but it's 100 men versus 1, and the odds clearly aren't in his favor. Top priority is revenge now. He doesn't care about the tournament anymore. The onslaught begins as an army of Awakeners charge, but our boy doesn't flinch and takes down the first assailant. The others begin to doubt his level 0 status as Tenma activates Lotus Burst and sends the battlefield into oblivion. The whole world watches his skills, even those who have completed the zone. The examiner can't believe the insane radius of the detonation and is impressed by the recent evolution. But this guy's only goal is the punk who started the beef. After the 100 party members are insta-killed, only Raggy remains. Tenma approaches Raggy, who thinks he can win by shouting. Tenma unleashes his ultimate move, Thunder Cannon. The analysis process initiates and lands a gut punch, knocking Raggy to the ground and reducing him to a lowly insect. Raggy tells his assistant to save his life, who breaks the rules to enter the tournament. Actually, he's a level 35 Awakener. Heighten is immediately interested in eliminating him. Our boy detects high-speed approaches and realizes there's more than one. An agent was going to attack when Heighten smashed the ground, urging Tenma to continue. Tenma stares at the dog, pleading for life. But before the story finishes, Bro pulverizes its head. Aga's revenge complete. The analysis process pauses for later. A peculiar voice grabs attention. Seiya and friends welcome him to come in. She's ovulating after witnessing Tenma massacre Awakenas, achieving 7th place in the inner zone. Iberia and Ramu bicker over who will claim the top spot as Tenma's ultimate buddy. Yapping, ridicule, and rage-baiting ensue. The examiner concludes the first stage and explains the second stage. Contestants will hunt and kill monsters based on difficulty points 1 hour straight. This level is exciting, and all 7 remarkable contestants are ready for the next challenge. Defeating one monster grants a 1-minute cooldown. This excites Gakui to hunt top-level monsters immediately. Curious, Tenma raises his voice to ask if the Nightmare class is really the highest difficulty. Most people don't even think it's powerful enough to take down threats, but Fujiwara reveals there's no upper limit for Nightmare-level creatures. They are all unique, so it's useless even to think about it. Today's performance counts for future consideration to become a top-level savior, so scoring is important. Recalling Jin's score of 115,000, our boy sets a target to surpass humanity's greatest. Contestants enter the trial grounds and the test begins. The first monsters are trash, so Tenma activates his ice skill to quickly finish them, moving on to the next stage's difficulty. Heen is the only one thrilled, observing every move. Even now, he sees the kid obliterate a whole horde of dogs in a second, which impresses Hat. But Fujiwara is sure the level 8 monster next will give Tenma a tough time. The struggle is obvious at that level for anyone, but Menu doesn't want people focusing on his student, so the conversation shifts to other students. Everyone is fine except Hanu, who's giving Tenma competition. Watch Tenma's fight. Bro absorbs flames as always and emerges scratchless. With a single slash, he cuts the creature, finishing the attack in 5 seconds and earning 500 points. Heen wonders why he didn't immediately kill the monster, but Tenma focuses on maintaining his defense stats, tanking every hit. The next obstacle is an electric rhino, a harder monster worth 1,000 points. Even one hit can instantly paralyze. Relentless speed is needed to win, but Tenma casually approaches, even showing interest in its horn. The rhino slams him away, but he doesn't feel it and continues putting on a show for his audience. Thanks to enduring the hits, his personal stats get boosted. It's time to end the fight. Tenma lunges and kills the creature in 7 seconds. Fujiwara builds suspense for the next monster, even more fearsome with absurd attack and defense. The creature is considered one of the most ferocious disaster beasts in the preliminaries, a nightmare-class purgatory giant. But all that intimidation is useless, as Tenma one-shots it with the piercing orb, then nonchalantly poses after the kill. He stops playing with his toys and tells the examiners to send the next nightmare-class monster. Saya Hisagi uses her power to pierce the monster straight through the mouth, planning to annihilate the remaining 2 monsters to finally advance to the normal class. While preparing, the system notifies that the beginner class is almost cleared. Elsewhere, Gaku is confident he will reach the first normal class. Hanahanu decides to recover mana before the next level. Suddenly, the system announces, Nightmare class cleared by someone ranked 21st in record time. The message shakes everyone. Saya is instantly certain it was Tenma. On the other hand, 4 people are completely amazed to learn the level 15 Purgatory Giant was instantly killed. Curious how far one can go, they decide to raise the challenge's difficulty. Our boy checks his stats and feels disappointed. He expected extraordinary gains but only received a few additional points. Unsatisfied, he decides to take down a single monster. With a single piercing orb attack, he instantly brings it down. People wonder again what the sphere is and whether it has a limit. He notices the strength scale is almost entirely filled, but there's also a major flaw. Heen is surprised, wondering if this is the hero's power ceiling and seeing his old self reflected. He rushes to help, but I stop him from behind, saying Tenma still has fights left. Everyone argues with Iyumi that now is not the time to discuss Tenma's abilities because if he isn't saved, the hero will die. However, I am firm, believing the hero still has an ace up his sleeve. Fujihara is surprised that Yuzumi knows, and I explain that you can tell from the hero's eyes. It's a gaze of someone who hasn't accepted death. The protagonist stands before the Purgatory Giant, refusing to die in battle after everything he's done. In the fight with Raji Kinoshita, over Mimesis' skill had activated, but the hero stops the analysis just before finishing, and that was just for a moment. The hero resumes analysis and instantly completes it. Suddenly, Agya cheers, seeing the fighter's blue lotus. Fujihara wonders what the lotus's use is in this state, and Heen wonders what's happening with Gaya. The hero's Thunderwave skill activates. Its active effect absorbs B-rank or lower lightning attacks in the body, and releasing the absorbed lightning energy increases agility by 100%. With this skill, the hero fully restores health and stops playing around. Fujihara is surprised to see the hero heal faster than a dedicated healer after being beaten badly. No one can believe the fighter has so many skills. Tenma pierces the Purgatory Giants instantly and clears Phase 4 in 31 seconds. Our hero confidently stands, knowing that no matter how many giants appear, he won't lose. Right then, a giant attacks from above and he shoots it instant kill. The hero's flight speed increases by 2,700% as he continues killing giants. Phase 5 is cleared in less than a minute, and Phase 6 in 1.5 minutes. Tenma effortlessly kills the Purgatory Giants and clears all phases. Spectators' jaws literally hit the floor. They can't tell who the real monster is, the hero or the purgatory giants. Our hero waits and expects more purgatory giants to spawn, but none appear. Fujiwara, still in shock, hits the microphone and informs Tenma that he wiped out all the purgatory giants they had in stock. The hero is surprised. He defeated all the purgatory giants without even knowing there was a difficulty cap. After counting kills lost in battle, he wonders how many giants he killed, since the hero can't level up. The disaster beast's experience converts into karma stones. Fujiwara is surprised to see the karma stones in the testing ground and notices the blue color, indicating at least 10,000 experience points. Izumi explains that the hero can't absorb experience, so XP transforms into karma stones. The hero then walks out the gate, and Fujiwara welcomes him with praises for his potential. He invites Tenma to come along, promising to be a good instructor. The hero politely refuses since he already has a teacher. Fujiwara tries to convince him, arguing that no random instructor can handle talent like his, only someone with connections and resources can benefit him. Hetten tells the old man to stop pestering the young talent, or he'll just dislike him. The old man tries to convince Hetten for the hero's sake, because talent shouldn't go to waste. Then the hero thanks Heen, and the old man's face turns to shock when Heiten mentions that he didn't mind helping Iyumi's student. Fujiwara is shocked that the young talent is a student. Now he understands Tenma's talent. Izumi checks the student for injuries but sees he's hyped for the Phase 7 challenge and realizes the hero isn't hurt. The hero tells the master he's not injured, just out of stamina, but will recover after a short break. Fujiwara now understands the young talent's skills. Izumi's other students also wipe out all disaster beasts in the second stage. The hero asks if Teiwa reached Phase 6, but the old man explains that previously the max was Phase 4. When that wasn't enough, they increased it to 8 and expanded after Phase 6. Iyumi then leads the student to observe as other participants enter the second stage. Meanwhile, Ramai grows tired after the hard class, and the nightmare class seems impossible to pass, so she gives up. Seiya already tried her best suffocating monsters in a giant water sphere. Mana is almost out, the next level seems impossible, and she gives up. The hero is surprised to see them already out, expecting more from them. Fujiwara reminds the hero that most participants cannot even clear the normal class. And after quickly defeating the electric rhino, he is confident they will land in the top 10. However, both fighters haven't exited yet after giving up, because leaving the testing ground isn't allowed unless critically injured. On the other hand, other participants reach the nightmare class. Hatton confidently feels that Gakuwa will at least take down one purgatory giant with a rare artifact. For she and Akagami, who is a Shikami user, making it this far shows his commitment to the fight. Cheyenne transforms into a giant monster and hits the giant with a powerful punch. The hero is surprised that Shikami can change into different forms and wonders if Aga's jade butterfly could do the same. But Agia says she can't, and it's her first time seeing the transformation. The different varieties and abilities of Shikami are a mystery, and she advises the hero to be careful if he ever encounters Shikami. The hero realizes how strong Shikamis are and decides to give all XP drops to the black dog he stole from Charles. Jo and Ramu are already out, and Tenma decides there's no point in staying, so he leaves. Right then, Iberia grabs attention and is shocked to see the armor. The epic dragon gear is the strongest artifact left by Iberia's father. The artifact has its own will and chooses its master. Iberia went through hell to obtain the armor, and its stats increase every minute. But if worn for longer than 15 minutes, there's a penalty, so he must finish before that. Facing off against the purgatory giants, he knows the nightmare class cleared announcement was Tenma's. He tries his best not to drag down his friend since they're together. Iberia jumps on a giant, breaks through armor, and the second stage ends. Fujiwara announces that the top 10 with the highest points advance to the national tournament main event. The top 2 receive special rewards. Gaku confidently feels that aside from Hanyu, no one will have higher points and the special reward will go to him. Fujiwara announces the top 10 and everyone is shocked to see the leaderboard. Everyone is surprised to see the heroes score over 100,000 points, because even Jintua only scored 60,000. They realize he could easily take first place in the nation. Each purgatory giant kill equals 5,000 points. Ramu wonders how many giants the hero killed to get such a ridiculous score. Ghana can't believe third place went to some unknown guy with such a high score. Seiya feels upset seeing the gap between Tenma and her own power, feeling she's not made for combat. Fujiwara announces that the provincial qualifiers are over, and Tenma leads the national rankings with a 65,000-point lead. Iberia can't see his father's face, but he knows he's happy. He cheers for his friend taking first place and feels proud of himself for not shamming the double one name. The 21st Savior Alliance National Tournament qualifiers conclude, and the hero carries his friend out after a tough battle. Meanwhile, in South Continent District 1, a fighter feels annoyed for coming early just to watch an old man meditating. His friend cautions him to be careful, because the old man standing ahead is the South Continent's commander and can predict the future. But the fighter wonders why notifications only appear after barriers deploy. Because if Barger could predict the future, he could have already told where the monoliths would fall. Barger can only predict a small time frame. The reason he's with humanity's heavyweights like Iyumi is that his prophecies are 100% accurate. Suddenly, Barger panics and falls. His followers help him up, and he cries that the North is in danger. A massive disaster beast is about to attack the northern continent, and one of the beasts exceeds level 100. Tenma's stats finally break 1,500 points. Normally, each level up adds 50 stat points, so 1,500 puts the hero around level 30 as a normal Awakener. Agility and defense can increase infinitely thanks to passive skills, and mana recovers infinitely with the Mana Sense passive, but attack power is the only stat the hero can't increase, and he wonders if he can. Right then, friends call him to dinner, and he temporarily puts it aside, deciding to later find a way to boost attack power. At the dinner table, the hero finds Iberia missing. Aegea tells him that he was treated earlier and wounds healed, but he was extremely exhausted, so still sleeping. Ramu is surprised that Iberia cleared the nightmare class, which even Saya and she couldn't beat. Suddenly, Zhou is startled seeing something behind. She tells Ramu to look back, and a tall figure scares Ramu as well. Iberia jumps onto the food and starts eating desperately. Ramu scolds him for scaring them and tells him to eat at another table. Iberia plates down his food and Ramu thinks he wants to fight but instead just sighs after enjoying the delicious meal. After learning Ramu made the food, Iberia says to quit being an Awakener and become a chef instead, because he's more of an expert in that. Right then, I interrupts the meal and asks the saviors what scares them the most. Ramu thinks for a moment and reveals his fear. His dream is to become a savior, travel the world, and enjoy gourmet food, so his fear is aging. He worries that if he grows old, his energy for travel will decrease and his sense of taste will deteriorate, preventing him from distinguishing flavors. Seiya was born into a family of doctors and grew up in a hospital. At a young age, she witnessed a lot of suffering, diseases, and trauma. Now even a normal cold terrifies her. The hero realizes that she ran away because she sneezed the other day. Izumi tells them that an Awakener's life is double that of a normal person and they rarely get sick, so they can let go of that fear now. But Iberia's fear was passing the qualifiers. Now that he has, his fear is not being able to fight alongside Tenma. After confessing, he pushes Tenma to reveal his own fear. Everyone thinks the hero isn't scared. The hero reveals that after his parents died, he was anxious about survival. His body was taken over by emotions of helplessness, rage, and sorrow until Jae and Ramu came. They cried, walked up to him, and reminded him to look up at the sky instead of down. They offered him food and a hospital to erase worries. The warmth of friends pulled him from the negative world, and after meeting Sensei Aegea and Iberia, he felt like he had gained a family. The hero confesses that it's been a long time since he felt this kind of relief and wishes the moment could last forever. Above all, he was afraid of living alone. Aegea becomes emotional seeing the hero gentle and calm, completely different from his previous chilling vibe. Iber suddenly hugs him and promises never to leave him. Izumi tells everyone that the question was asked to test whether there could be regret in becoming saviors and facing danger. Death without regret is the ultimate goal of every savior. He informs the rest because Kisaragi and Horino will return to the North District tomorrow. The next morning, everyone says goodbye. Iberia tells Ramu to make home-cooked food again. Seeing him cry, the hero wonders how he became so close to Ramu. The hero realizes he wants to ask Saya something and decides to ask during the main tournament. Suddenly, Aegea runs in, rushing to tell Iyumi top-secret information from the South Continent. The clearance level is extremely high, only Saviors level 50+ or continent commanders can see it. IM tells Aegea to break the news, trusting the hero and his friend. Aegea tells Izumi the prophecy from Elder Barger, a massive disaster beast will attack the northern continent within the next 3 days. Tenma wonders if the prophecy is reliable. His friend tells him Barger is a renowned prophet across 5 continents and the prophecy is confirmed. Aegea urges Iyumi to leave the northern continent quickly. Izumi knows the reason must be the disaster beast attack and feels that the northern continent is the likely target. He considers staying as bait, but Aegea argues that combat is not her specialty and it's too risky. She urges the temporary evacuation of the central continent. The hero agrees with Aegea and offers to fight and stay. But Izumi refuses to back off and tells Tenma to do something else. The hero argues that protecting his teacher is the most important, but I tells him that Iberia's father Aiden is the most skilled crafter on 5 continents, and it would be bad if something happened to him. So Izumi asks his student to go with Iberia and guard Aiden, and decides to send some Awakeners as backup too. Seeing Izumi splitting forces just to protect Iberia's father, he wonders if the old man is trying to keep him away from the battlefield. Izumi then asks Aha for 3 tasks. First, announce the attack to the residents of the northern continent and safely evacuate Awakeners level 50 and below. Second, notify level 50 plus Awakeners in the continent and have them prepared to intercept the disaster beasts at any moment. Third, Heen is instructed to head to the North District, where the population is low, to avoid putting civilians in danger, since the plan is to intercept the disaster beasts head-on. Aegea informs her father that all arrangements are complete and that Heighton will be arriving soon. As he dismisses her, he notices a trace of hesitation in her expression. It doesn't take long to realize she is curious about one thing: why he chose to send Tenma to Aiden in the first place. Aegea cannot hide her curiosity, and seeing no reason to avoid the topic, Izumi decides to explain. He tells her that they are expecting the appearance of prophesied disaster beasts, monsters whose levels could easily exceed 100. If Tenma were to encounter such beings, he would be forced to fight seriously, and in doing so, involuntarily expose all of his current skills. Aegea immediately argues, pointing out the danger of that logic. By revealing Tenma's abilities so openly, they would also be signaling his strengths to the disaster beasts, giving them time to prepare countermeasures and potentially kill him anyway. Her father then shares another observation about Tenma. Despite his versatility, he noticeably lacks raw attack power. According to rumors circulating among the high-level circles, Aiden possesses an artifact capable of greatly boosting offensive strength. If Tenma were able to acquire that artifact, he would become an Awakener possessing nearly every possible ability, filling the one gap that currently holds him back. At around 8:00 p.m. on the first day of the prophecy, monoliths begin raining down upon the districts of the northern continent, signaling the official start of the assault. In North District 2, Tenma and Iberia sprint through the streets toward Iberia's father, fully aware that a disaster beast attack could occur at any moment. Suddenly they spot a monolith descending from the sky and realize the attack has already begun, landing directly in the center of the city. Tenma isn't sure whether all citizens have evacuated successfully. If a disaster beast were to appear now, casualties would be unavoidable. As panic spreads, citizens start running for their lives just as Elder Barger predicted. Meanwhile, Tenma carefully observes the barrier forming around the area. He finds himself torn between 2 difficult choices: save the civilians knowing abandoning them would result in countless deaths, or focus entirely on their mission. Knowing that helping civilians would slow them down and become a major obstacle, he realizes he can't ask Iberia to assist with evacuations. Iberia, clearly worried about his father and heavily exhausted, hasn't even requested a break. Before Tenma can say anything, Iberia voluntarily suggests helping the civilians first. With that, they quickly revise plans, deciding to wipe out the disaster beast within the city before anything else. Inside the city, a level 21 flame golem has already appeared. Several heroes desperately try to hold it off, but their levels are drastically lower than the beast, creating a complete lose-lose scenario. Exchanging glances and assessing the damage, they realize they can do little more. One by one, they turn and run for their lives, all except one water elementalist. The man rushes forward to confront the monster. Though fear grips his body and he's practically wetting his pants, he refuses to show terror outwardly. Through sheer effort, he manages to take down the monster once, but as the flame golem revives, it lets out a deafening roar and releases a massive wave of flames. Everyone realizes the same thing: they are about to be grilled alive. Just as all hope seems lost, Tenma appears, effortlessly blocking the incoming flames. He immediately instructs Iberia to guide civilians to safety while he handles the beast alone. Civilians stare in disbelief at the wall of ice shielding them and frantically ask Iberia if they are saviors. Iberia quickly denies the claim, though confidently declares he will surpass Jintua someday. The civilians, still shaken, lash out at him, calling him a brat despite having saved their lives. Their attention then shifts to our hero. They notice Tenma standing covered entirely in ice armor, and for a moment wonder if his body itself is some kind of artifact. Some time ago, Tenma had been warned about the black sphere he uses. Though immensely powerful, its casting time is far too long. Against a truly strong disaster beast, its flight speed is barely fast enough. If the first shot misses, the enemy immediately becomes cautious, making a second hit extremely difficult. Izumi advised him to avoid using it as much as possible, only relying on it when certain he could finish the opponent in one strike. Back in the present, Tenma realizes that using the black sphere in a crowded area would only draw more attention, especially since whispers of him being a high-level Awakener are already spreading. Instead, he decides to rely purely on overwhelming force. Tenma activates his Thunderwave and leaps into the air, delivering a massive kick to the monster's head, sending it crashing to the ground. Spectators are left in utter shock. A disaster beast is being defeated by a boy who looks like a mere teenager. Many assume the flame golem must have been heavily injured already, but the civilians witnessing the fight up close know the truth. They cannot believe that even a level 21 flame golem couldn't land a single hit on him. Confusion deepens and everyone wonders who Tenma really is. As soon as the monster is defeated, Tenma and Iberia immediately flee the scene. The other heroes remain in stunned silence, overwhelmed by the display of power. While running, Tenma analyzes his fight. An instant kill against a disaster beast of that level was impossible, and this serves as a warning for the future. If monsters are this powerful at the beginning, estimating what's next becomes extremely difficult. One thing is clear: boosting power is necessary no matter the cost. Iberia admires his friend's speed, but Tenma knows speed is useless if power is low. Iberia realizes the truth and says that the way to boost attack power exists. His father's warehouse is filled with artifacts, and one of them can increase Tenma's offensive power. Tenma is already strong and Izumi's student, so his father will definitely provide the artifact. Iberia becomes so excited he practically drools and quickly drags Tenma to his father's house. Tenma initially thought he had been holding back his speed, but seeing Iberia panting, even with agility, he realizes his friend is struggling. So Tenma supports him to prevent fatigue and both sprint together. Iberia panics, yelling for more speed, but Tenma says, "Put up with it, don't waste time." A little later, Iberia feels relieved, surviving in one piece. Tenma wonders why Iberia's father lives in the forest when the town is safe. Iberia explains that the noise of the town disrupts his father's concentration for crafting. He also warns that there are many traps and they should not underestimate them. Tenma understands the reason for the mana traces, and Iberia assures him that if they follow the path carefully, they'll be safe. Tenma knows he can avoid traps using mana sense. Confident, Iberia steps on a trap and panics. It's the most troublesome trap. Suddenly an epic iron golem appears. Tenma is shocked that the old man also possesses humanoid artifacts. The golem swings its arm at Iberia, but Tenma steps in and blocks it with a punch. The artifact's attack power exceeds Tenma, and he cannot destroy it with the piercing true sphere because it exists to protect Iberia's father. Tenma asks Iberia how they can stop the golem. Iberia replies, "Target the karma stone in its chest, that's its power source." Tenma activates Thunderwave. His attack power is lower, but he leverages his speed advantage. He climbs the golem's arm and steals the karma stone. Suddenly Iberia shouts to stop Juki. Tenma turns and sees a man swinging. Juki clarifies, "I thought they were bandits." Tenma wonders how he sneaked in without mana waves and notices his sword has vanished. Iberia introduces his friend to Juki, but Tenma remains focused on the mission. Juki informs them that the old man is back but warns that his mood is bad. Iberia excitedly tells his dad that he cleared the qualifiers, even Nightmare class, and got 4th place in the region. He requests the artifact, but the dad slaps him. Iberia protests that he borrowed it, but his father scolds him for recklessness. Wearing the dragon gear for too long has irreversible consequences. Iberia angrily walks out. The old man turns to Tenma, recognizing him as Izumi's student. Tenma introduces himself and explains that he came to protect him for the prophecy. The old man rarely accepts students having high standards and wonders why such an ordinary-looking boy was selected. Suddenly the old man's eyes widen in shock. He realizes the boy's level might be fixed. He suspects Tenma is faking stats using the artifact, but Tenma calmly denies it. Now the old man understands why Izumi requested this artifact. He tells Tenma that his teacher always calculates profits and losses and demands returns, but Tenma hadn't even heard of any return. He was just told to protect the old man. Aiden explains that he received a contact. If he exchanges a certain artifact, he would allow Izumi's disciple to protect him. Tenma doesn't actually need the artifact, just protecting him is enough. Still, the old man is ready to offer it himself. Aiden thinks about why Izumi specifically chose this failed product. Originally, it was designed to let an Awakener unleash maximum attack power, but suddenly a crack appeared in the artifact. Its rank became unknown and a mysterious broken effect emerged. The broken effect is that when the user's level increases, the critical rate resets. For a normal Awakener, the artifact became useless. Initially, the old man was confused why Izumi requested this artifact, but after seeing Tenma's stats, he understood the reason. He believes Tenma is special. How strong he can become is unknown, but the artifact is perfect for him. Since his level doesn't increase, defeating disaster beasts will eventually bring his critical rate to 100%. In the future, every attack will be 10 times stronger. Tenma equips the broken critical crystal, but the critical rate only increases if an enemy's attack power exceeds his own, slightly challenging. He decides that after surviving, he will figure out a countermeasure. Aiden deems the artifact suitable for Tenma. Tenma thanks him, but Aiden says the artifact was made for the fight, so no thanks are necessary. He assures that disaster beasts will not attack remote locations unless they already know the position and tells them to rest. Suddenly, something falls. Everyone looks up and is surprised. A green barrier appears in the sky. Only commanders and the chief of 5 continents know Aiden's location. Aiden wonders if the monument stones fall here is a coincidence. Juki orders everyone to step back, but Tenma says the disaster beasts are already approaching. Tenma senses something moving at incredible speed. The beasts rush forward and one swings sharp claws at Tenma. He grabs it and cuts through it. No matter the beast's levels, Tenma is confident he can finish them with a lotus explosion. He considers that Juki might also survive the lotus, but worries that Aiden and Iberia, hiding behind the hut, could get accidentally involved if the lotus is used recklessly. Tenma clears the beasts and takes a step back. Suddenly, he senses a strong wave of magical power. More beasts are approaching. Meanwhile, Demon King Yamaraja informs his lord that the first wave of the advanced party, composed of lower-class slaves, has been sent into the human world. He asks which of the 8 demon kings will command the main force. The lord replies that he detected an important person in the human world with his eyes from the last visit, and that capturing him is necessary. Yamaraja asks if a demon king should be assigned this task, but the lord decides against it. If a demon king were sent, the eye would be destroyed. So the task is given to a demon general. Command of the main force is assigned to the Apeating demon, since it hasn't tasted living humans in a long time. That's where today's video ends, guys. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Your support means a lot.